Hi, my name is Andy Deitmeyer, chef for Mercy Medical Center.
And I'm Terry Clark, one of the dietitians. Chef Andy will be making a polenta cake today, and the basis of polenta is cornmeal. You can either use a yellow or you can use a white cornmeal for this. Cornmeal is a complex carbohydrate, so that means that it just digests a little bit slower in the body. It also is a protein source, so you could use this in either a vegetarian diet or somebody who might need to get some extra protein in their diet. It's also rich in potassium and phosphorus and magnesium and also some other trace nutrients. One good thing about cornmeal is that it's also a gluten-free grain, and so this is something that you can apply in a gluten-free diet.
Okay, to get our polenta started, I've got a saucepan here. Just getting it warm. Here, in order to impart some flavor and some color to the polenta, we've got just a variety of diced vegetables, red bell pepper, celery, red onion, some garlic. We want to add something to add some flavor to this because polenta in and of itself is a pretty neutrally flavored ingredient, which is a great thing. It makes a great backdrop. It makes a great starter because you can flavor it really any way you want to. If you wanted to make a mushroom polenta, if you wanted to do something spicy, anything will go into this and it'll flavor it. So, but in this case, we're just doing something very basic today. Just some nice aromatic vegetables. It'll go a long way with flavoring our polenta. So polenta is a ground cornmeal. You can see it literally looks like it's ground up corn kernels. This is a coarse polenta. There's different grades, different grinds of polenta, and some of them get really, really fine. And that's more like a corn flour, like masa, which you'd use in like a tamale or something like that. But this is a much coarser grain. It's very gritty. To get started, we're just going to sweat out some vegetables here in just a little bit of olive oil. Not terribly high heat, but just enough to sweat the vegetables a little bit, tender them up. Nice thing about polenta, it's very versatile, easy to make, quick preparation. In this case, as I said, we're going to make a polenta cake. Polenta can be served in a variety of different ways. You could serve it as a creamy style, which is going to have the consistency of like a mashed potato almost. But in this case, in the cooking, the preparation is the same way. It's just a matter of what you do with it once it's done to turn it into a cake. So I got my vegetables sweating out. They're nice and tender. I'm just going to add some chicken stock. A little milk. I like to add a little dairy just to, and you wouldn't have to. You could keep it dairy-free if you wanted, but it gives a little bit more richness to it. But you could certainly leave it out and just do just chicken stock as well. Season this up a little bit with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And again, this is where you can take this particular dish and go anywhere you want with it. I mean, if you wanted to start incorporating cheeses, fresh herbs, you name it, you can put anything you want into there. The other night I was making some at home. I had jalapenos, I had tomatoes, I had cumin, cilantro. Put that down, put a little grilled hanger steak on top of it. It was a great quick supper. So we're going to bring this up to a boil, and that's when we'll add our polenta. And it's almost like the same thing as like cooking an oatmeal. Same concept. We got a grain into a hot liquid. We're going to cook it till the grain is tender and cook the starch out, and then it's essentially done. So if you can make oatmeal, you can make polenta. And corn, like Terry said, comes in a variety of different styles. This is a yellow cornmeal. You can get a white cornmeal. You can get blue cornmeal if you want. You know, it'll get like this really cool-looking purple polenta. It's kind of a neat-looking color if you want a more interesting presentation. So my liquid is hot. I'm going to start adding my polenta. Typically about a 4-to-1 ratio is where you're going to want to be, so 4 parts liquid to 1 part polenta. But the nice thing is you can, if that ratio doesn't quite seem right, or if you want it to be a little bit more tender, you can add a little bit more liquid and just keep cooking it and keep cooking it. So it's cooking together, and the liquid is soaking into the corn kernels, which is cooking them, and the corn starch is coming out. And really, it's just a matter of cooking it till all the liquid is absorbed and the cornmeal is nice and tender. And if you wanted to serve it in a creamy state, this is where you would be done. You would leave it, like I said, kind of that consistency of a mashed potato. But in order to make a polenta cake, we're going to cook it out, make sure it's really nice and tender. Then we're going to turn it out. Once it's done, we're going to turn it out into a pan, make it into a single level, let it cool, and then you can cut it into your desired shapes. So keep letting this cook. Cooking time is somewhere about 10 minutes. Not terribly long, and certainly not complicated. Okay, so at this point, our polenta has cooked out. It is nice and tender. You can see it's kind of got that consistency of a mashed potato type look to it. And as this is where we want it. In order to make a cake, right now this would be good to serve. You could serve it just like this, and this would be what you call a creamy style polenta. Also very good. It's great. You can do it either way. But just to show a different variation, we're going to do the cakes today. So I've got just a pan, any shape, anything you want to do will work. It's just a matter of holding a form so we can create some type of shape. I'm going to turn my polenta, and I just got a little, this lightly greased pan here so it doesn't stick. Spread that into a nice layer. Now you just let this cool. You can throw it in the refrigerator, let it cool. You want to get it to be nice and cool so it sets. And you can turn this out onto a cutting board. You can cut various shapes, do whatever you want. And then once you got your shapes, you can either saute them in a pan. They're really great if you want to put them on the grill in the summertime. It's a nice additional side dish if you want to do. It goes great with salads. Be a little appetizer, you can cut little pieces. You cut little pieces if you wanted to make a little appetizer, put a little guacamole or something on top. You name it. It's, like I said, it's very versatile. It's great. I think you'll enjoy it. It's another different thing you can add to your table on a daily basis. So at this point, our polenta, we've had it in the refrigerator. You can see it's not running anymore. It has set. It's firm, which is exactly what we're looking for. At this point, we can cut it into shapes. So all you need to do is turn it out of the pan. Presto, see that? Nice, one firm piece. And now we could do, and if you had a square, you can make whatever shapes. This we'll just do some triangle pieces. You see it holds its shape really, really nice. At this point, if you wanted to pop those into just a little bit of olive oil on a sauté pan, sear them on both sides. The nice thing about that, the inside's nice and soft and creamy, and the outside will have this nice golden brown crust to the outside. Just pop them on your grill for a little bit on each side, give them some grill marks. That's really nice. There's various ways to reheat them. So, and then the nice thing is when you're wanting to plate something nicely, you can stack them, you can build height, you can do a lot of different things and cut them into a lot of different shapes, which is nice to get some nice plate presentations out of things. So there you go. Polenta cake.